this here is, it's, again, I've said this in the other modules, building it yourself means this becomes your intellectual property. So personalize it. I'm going to teach you how to do this really efficiently, and then you're going to have this template that you can use on all of your designs. So click and hold shift and drag the circle tool so you get a perfect circle. I'm going to make sure it's center by using this horizontal alignment and then this vertical alignment. And I'm going to change the color because I don't like that color. Okay, so I'm going to push V tool and check it out. We've got our first circle. I'm going to click this tool and push S. And when I do push S, I'm going to, you'll see that the cursor has changed. I'm going to hold shift and click this path. And then I'm going to push Option on Mac or Alt on a PC. And then I'm going to drag just like this. I'm going to make it like that. To show you that again, so we've got our circle. I'm going to push S. I'm going to hold shift, click, hold Alt, and drag. And let's do just a couple more. So that's hold shift, click, hold Alt, and drag. Check it out. Oops, looks like I messed that one up. We're missing a circle. I'm going to push S, hold shift, click, hold Option or Alt, and drag. Let's leave that there. Okay, so now you can see we've got these circles, and I'm going to change this circle here to another color, and then I'll change, let's change this circle here to something else, and we'll just do the inner circle as, you know, something like that. It's not a big deal. Pick whatever colors you want. I try and keep it relatively neutral. I'll play around with this. So you can see I've done blue and a purple in here with this kind of peachy color on the back. It's whatever you want to do. The next thing we're going to do now that we've got these circles is we're going to take our line tool, and from this center point we're going to make a notch. Make sure that your notch is maybe not 1 point, maybe 0.5 or even 0.25 is fine. And then we're going to do a process that repeats this around this circle. So you don't have to draw every single one of these notches. You're only going to do it one time. So we're going to push R, and then we're going to hold down Alt or Option, and from the center circle we're going to click, and you'll see a pop-up box has come up. And in this pop-up box we're going to say 1 degree. We want this repeated every 1 degree, and click copy. We want to copy it. Now Control or Command D, hold those down together, and you'll see it's going to copy that notch the whole way around the circle. So you didn't have to put in every single tiny one at 1 degree. That would be very, very tedious work. This is a really quick way for you to, a very efficient way and accurate way for you to make this repetition around this circle. And we're going to really just repeat this step throughout this process to get the rest of what we're looking at, to include the numbers. Just a couple more there. Okay, so now that we've got this repeated around the circle, I'm going to select that center one again. I'm going to push A, and I'm going to kind of just enlarge this one here. Let's say we're going to do this all the way to the top, and we're going to push, I'm going to select it and push the letter R, hold down Option or Alt, click the center, and let's repeat it every 90 degrees, copy, Control D, Control D, Control D. Okay, so that's got us our main points. So that's north, south, east, west. But we also want to be able to, I'm going to take this, I'm going to push A, and I'm going to just actually take it down. So we're going to select it, and we're going to push R. I'm going to hold Option. I'm going to click the center again. Let me click off of that. Now I've got that shorter one. Push R, hold Alt, click the center, and I want to copy this for every 10 degrees. Copy. And then I'm going to hit Command D and repeat this around the circle. You could hold it down and make it faster. Now we're back to the start again. So I'm going to click that small one again. I'm going to lengthen it. I push A, click that anchor and lengthen it just a little bit more. And then I'm going to do the same thing that I did again. I'm going to find that one. I'm going to push R. I'm going to push Option or Alt, click the center, and I'm going to repeat it every 20 degrees and push Copy. Make sure you push Copy and not just OK. Command D, hold it down. So now we've got this circle with our intervals in. We're going to get the text key. Let's say we want the 0, and let's drag that number into here. If you're happy with the size, you're happy with the font, you're going to do the same thing again. You're going to push R, Alt, center, and we're going to repeat this every 20 degrees as well. So we're going to hit Copy. Command D, hold it down until it gets back to the start. Now it's just as simple as adding the additional numbers. So that's 20, 40, and notice that when I started with this 0, I made sure that the setting was on center. So that's going to keep it centered to this as well. So 60, 80, 80, 100. We're going to go all the way around. Control Z, abort mission. We don't want to do that. 280, 300, getting there, so close. All right, so as you can see, we've gone all the way around the circle and we've got our numbers in place. This is pretty important. It's very accurate and it's very efficient. So the next thing that we can do is we can create this central point. So we'll take this line tool, and from the center we're just going to go up, let's say this far. Okay, make sure it's got a stroke on it. One is fine. I don't like to have such a heavy stroke, so I'm actually going to go down to the half of that. And then I'm going to create another smaller line. Let's say, I'm going to just click off of this for a second. Get the line. So from that same point, we're going to draw a smaller line, let's say a quarter to a third of the way up. So I'm going to repeat this one. So we're going to do that same process again of R, hold down Alt. I'm going to click this here, and let's do 22.5. That is half of 45 degrees. And let's hit Copy. And then we're going to push V, click off, click it, push R, Alt, hit the center again. And we're going to do minus 45 degrees because we want to copy that to the other side of the circle. Push V, and now click off. The next thing we're going to do is take this pen tool and we're going to create a shape here. Okay. Why did it not do that? So let's see. I'm going to just hit escape on that. Let's go back to the pen tool. I'm going to hit this one here and connect those dots. Hit escape. V, click off. We're going to go back to the pen tool. Click on this one and that anchor again. V, and now click off. Now this here is its own shape. Let's color it gray. And then we're going to select this one and hold shift and select this one together, and we can go object group. So this becomes one object. And we're going to do the same repetition again. Click it, push R, option, click the center. This is the central point you want it rotating around. We're just going to push copy on that. Control D, copy, 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 all the way around until you get to there. Push V, and now click off. And now what we can do is we can actually push A, click on the anchor here. We can keep it in line with this central point. You can go all the way up to the top if you want. Might be silly, might look silly to you. Maybe it doesn't. It seems fine to me. Maybe you want to do that for each of these. This is your opportunity to make it your own. Let's do that for all of them. You can see I did not do that on the other example. It's just however you want to do your template. Pick your colors, pick the way that you feel you want to do it. And that looks pretty cool. This circle here to me is kind of maybe, I don't really like the color very much. Maybe I want to change the opacity of that. And I don't want to change the outline opacity, so I'm just going to select this, and then I'm going to select the opacity on the gray only, not the outline. And we'll drop that down a little bit. And that is how you create a template for the compass rose. The thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to do some research on your client's property. So there are two, this suncalc.org is a really cool website where you can go and you can type in Morning Breeze Way is the one that we've tried. Let's see, Peyton. Nah, it's not coming up, but that's okay. Let's just click any. So basically, Manifest, California, okay? And we can change the date on this. We can change the time. We can look at this in January. We can look at this December. I strongly recommend you coming to this website and having a look, because this is going to give you your sun angles, the degrees. Now let's zoom out so we can see this. No, it's not going to let me. Here we go. Let's shrink that. Now we can see it. So I want you to go and play around with this and have a look at the different things that you can find using suncalc.org. And then another one you can look at is this windhistory.com. These are specific to the United States. Now, if you wanted to look at other countries, you're going to need to look at different, probably government websites who are collecting the data on your region. There are apps that you can use to calculate what the sun angles are. There is a lot of stuff out there. Get accurate research. And then we're going to take that and we're going to plot it on our maps. So for windhistory.com, you could search the map anywhere and you could say January. What is the wind doing in Denver in January? We've got these winds here. And maybe you're out, you know, on the prairie. Maybe you're up on the mountains. The mountains are up in here. What is the wind doing there? And that's January. Let's have a look in, summer. What are those winds looking like in summer? It's really important that we do take a good look at different websites and do a good research on what are the external influences on this client's property. Do your research, and let's jump over to Illustrator again, because while you go and do your research, you come back to this and then you want to start plotting things here on the map. So to do your template, I suggest having numerous, let's see, we want this to be maybe roughly the same size as this circle. So let's center it, and then we're going to black this out here, and we're going to push A, and we're going to pick a point, and let's not pick that point, let's pick this point here, and we're going to hit delete. Maybe we'll pick this point here, and we're going to hit delete, and I'm going to push V. and you can see now we've got a circle segment that matches up perfectly with this circle here, and we can change the stroke on that. Let's make it wider. Let's change the color of it. Let's make it, let's find different colors. Let's go with kids stuff. That sounds fun. Let's go with this pink. And then we're going to click it. You can hold down Alt and you can duplicate it like this and then push T, and then you might say these are, let's see, caps lock on, prevailing winds. I'm going to make the font on this bigger to make us really be able to see that, and then I'm going to drag this directly over the top, and you can see that fits perfectly with the purple here. Now we can just repeat that process. Center it to the page, and let's look at this. Let's say our sun angles are 360 here for summer. Take your pen tool and hold it down, and see there's a plus add anchor point tool. Let's look at that 300 here, and then let's look at that 60 here, and now push A, and that point that's between that 300 and that 60, we're going to select that, we're going to delete it. I'm going to push B, and I'm going to make this one yellow because we're going to say this is the summer sun. Okay, let's make it good and chunky, and we're going over the top of this one here, which is an easy fix. We just shift and drag and line it, shift and drag, and line it up with our circle here. Now you can change the opacity on that. Maybe you want to dull that down. Click it, hold down Option or Alt, and you'll see the cursor changes, and that hold that pathway down, drag, push T, right on directly on it, summer sun angle. You can write it however you want, and that's going to overlap directly onto this perfectly. So now we can look at this and say, okay, that was our 300, so let's draw a line over that 300. We might just connect it to the center. I'm going to push A, and I'm going to drag this so that it's more aligned. I'm going to have to zoom in to do that. A, let's drag that over that 300, and let's make that stroke a lot wider. Z, and maybe we want to change that opacity right down, and then we can just copy it and paste A, chuck that down in there, and then drag that out there. It's as simple as that. There we go, an extra one there, so I'll delete that. So now you can do that for the winter sun, and you can do that for fire winds, and maybe the pointer axis is in the north. So let's hold shift, create our circle. Maybe we've got northern axis on the property. Center it, center it. Oops, I don't know why it's doing that. Drop that right there in the middle. Let's hit that P so we can get the pen tool and create some extra points. Maybe our axis is, push A. We're going to delete this anchor. We're going to delete this anchor, and we're going to delete this anchor. Let's just turn that there off. Let's make this green, and there's a terrible green. And let's increase that stroke. You can see this one's not angled properly. That's okay. Now hold down Alt or Option, duplicate it, push T, and you'll see you're not just doing a regular old text box. When you push T and you go over a line, you'll see that you're going to write on this. This is our axis. point. I'm going to just change the opacity on this because it's really quite bold. And then let's drop this in here. And it is perfectly angled to that because it's a duplicate of that line. When you've done this, this is your template. So go ahead and practice. I want you to find the checklist. I want you to go through it on a property, an address, and do the research and plot the sun angles, the prevailing winds. So that's summer, that's winter. Have a look at the list and go through it and make sure that you're putting it all on this template. And then this will change for each client that you go and see. Here is another template that I've got over here, and it's for the southern hemisphere. And what you'll notice with this one is the sun angle is not wrapping around the bottom, it's wrapping around the top. We've got fire winds that come from this way, and in this one, this particular property, we've got monsoon rains, the inland trough and frontal changes for winter come from this direction. And our prevailing winds are really coming from this direction. So it is really easy to take this and then flip it. So you can just right click and then transform, or on a Mac you hold down Control and click, and then you'll transform it, and then you can reflect it, however you will reflect it, 90 degrees, vertically, whatever you want to do. So that can really help you to speed up the process of, we've just gone from the northern hemisphere where the sun is, your best exposure is in the south, to the southern hemisphere where the best exposure is in the north. And we can very easily change that just with a simple Control click or right click and transform. And this is going to be unique for every client that you've got. But when you've got your template, you can continue to use the same template and just move these points around for every single client that you've got, and it becomes yours. It's personalized to you. You can pick the colors, and you can see these are all three quite different. So go and do your assignment and shoot it over to me, and when I grade it, you'll move on to the next module.